Okay, so this semester I was an intern for Friends of Lower Hall River, and my name is Catherine Buie, by the way. Um, okay, so Friends of Lower Hall State Natural Area is an all-volunteer group dedicated to supporting the Lower Hall River State Natural Area in Chatham County, North Carolina. They are a local chapter of the statewide nonprofit North Carolina Friends of State Parks. And their mission is the Lower Hall River is a special place that they're committed to conserving and enhancing for current enjoyment while creating a legacy for future generations. So below I just put their logo and a picture of the river. And so Friends of Lower Hall River provides stewardship, education, and advocacy for the Lower Hall River State Natural Area. With stewardship, they enhance infrastructure and restore habitat. With education, they provide educational programs to connect people with nature and to promote public awareness of the Lower Hall ecosystem. And with advocacy, they encourage conservation of lands along and surrounding the Lower Hall State Natural Area, and they establish and maintain sustainable land and paddle trails. And so my role this semester was I worked with one of the board members of Friends of Lower Hall named Catherine Dinger. And I developed an online volunteer and event process for registration and tracking volunteer hours. And since this is a nonprofit, I mainly use Google Tools for this since it's a free and easy way to track a lot of information. And so one of the Google tools I used was Google Forms. This is an example of one of the forms I created for one of their Explore hikes. As you can see, I just kind of put a description of the hike so people who could get an idea of what it was like before signing up. And then on the form, we just gathered general information from them, such as their name, their phone number, their email, and emergency contact information. And so these were super helpful for Friends of Lower Hall because it's just an easy way for people to sign up and for them to store their information. And it was cool. I actually got to go on this hike. So I actually got to see the river and to actually meet some of the board members in person, which is really cool. And so one of the other Google tools I used this semester a lot was Google Sheets. And so with these Google Sheets, as you can see to the left, that's like the responses we got from the forms. So that gave us an idea of who all was participating and what project they were doing. And so this is an example of one of their invasive species removal service projects. And as you can see, it gave them 3 service hours for doing it. And so with this, it was important for them to track each individual's number of service hours throughout the year and the organizations as a whole. So I created a pivot table, which I had never done before, but they're actually super helpful. You can put whatever information you want in them. And I just did their name and then the number of hours that they got. So you can see that each person got 3 service hours for completing the invasive plant removal project. And then as a grand total, everyone, including there, it was 27 hours total, which is a super easy way just to add all up and keep track of that. And then the last Google tool that I used throughout the semester a lot was Google Docs. And one of my main projects for that was just creating a document that showed the board members and people that are going to be using this project in the future, how exactly to use all the Google tools. Not everyone's super familiar with Google Forms and Google Sheets. So I just kind of told them exactly where to use what and how exactly to go about everything. So I'm hoping that that will help them in the coming months and the coming years when I'm not an intern with them. And so I had multiple key learnings and takeaways throughout the semester. One was the value of feedback and communication. I met with my mentor every week on Zoom. And so we would just kind of go over what exactly we did that week and what all needs to be done during that week. And so she would give me good feedback of what I need to change or what I need to work on just to make it look better or easier for everyone to understand. And so it's just really important to communicate through these Zoom meetings and through email throughout the week. I also learned the complexity of project management. There are a lot of different projects with this organization going on at once. And so just keeping track of what goes where, what information needs to be kept for what project. It really just helped me with my organization skills and just project management. Um, and then another skill was my Google Sheet skills. I had never done a pivot table before, and I wasn't really familiar with Google Forms as much, but I used those a lot throughout the semester. So I really got comfortable with those, and I know that I can use those hopefully in my future jobs too. Um, and lastly, I just learned some more about nonprofit work. I'd never really worked behind the scenes with a nonprofit. So just kind of seeing how everything's organized with volunteers and their management was really cool. And so that's all I have. Thank you, everyone.